You went binding? Tell us more.
A couple that I had been working with for a while. The one we were number 2 twice, and finally, a lot of phone calls to the other agent. A lot of, hey, what can I do to make your life simple? Hey, tell me what you need. I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
And she did. She communicated back very well with me to let me know exactly what we needed to do, and we did it.
I love that. I love that. So did you feel like that pushed you over the edge kind of?
I
Like,
know
had
it
you
did,
not made any
because
of that communication at all and just kind of threw out your offer, the results probably would have been different, right?
it would have definitely been different. We would have come in under, and I just knew, I know where we were going to go in, and I know where we ended up, and it made the difference. Yeah. And was worth it. It was very close. And it's those close ones that are the hardest. I don't mind losing by a lot. I mind losing by a little.
Right. Like I always used to tell the agent, look, I don't want to lose over something like home warranty or something. So
Exactly.
if that's what it's about, I want you to call me because I'll pay for it myself if necessary, because I do not want to put these people back in my car.
Exactly.
Right. Congratulations. Awesome. Okay, who else? Anyone else want to share some cool news from the weekend? No? All right, let's jump right in. I'm going to make a quick request of everybody, which is today is Candace's birthday. So she is out of town in the Caribbean with her husband for a couple of days. And I think hopefully she's not checking her phone, but if she is, I would love to have her see just a bunch of, thinking of you, happy birthday, thanks for all you do, all that kind of stuff. So maybe take 5 seconds today and just send her a message to let her know how much appreciation you have for her and what she does for our group. So thank you. Okay, I want to jump right in and talk a little bit about the Life by Design form. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna back up and help you understand kind of what I've created here. And I just want to let you know that it is a work in progress. I have reached out to a handful of agents and gotten their feedback, as well as my coach, as well as a couple of other people. And I'm in what I'd like to deliver to you guys, just so you know, is basically a series of templates and a series of easy buttons for you as you are building your business, or even if you come in after the fact, like let's say Ashley's a capper, she's done a handful of deals, she kind of knows how to search FMLS, for example, yet she can benefit from all this stuff too. So it's really a series of tools that can make everyone's life a little bit easier and more efficient. So what I've done, if you can see the screen here, is, and we're going to focus on Life by Design today, and I'll walk you through exactly how to maneuver this spreadsheet and kind of how to think about it a little bit. But I have a buyer tab with buyer checklist, and it's kind of split up into, here are the things that happen pre-contract, here are the things that happen contract to close, and here are the things that happen post-contract. Same thing with sellers. I've got it identified on which tasks should be done by the rainmaker and which tasks at some point in time should be done by an administrator. Okay, we've got some calendar prompts. We've got some database prompts. We've got some pipeline prompts, and actually a place to keep your pipeline. We've got a series of GPSs and some commentary on all of them. Got some commentary. I'm working on the 411. We've got a tab for transaction and DocuSign, or transaction management and DocuSign, a client info page, a financial system where you can go in and track everything that a lot of what we're going to talk about today, right? Which is GCI, costs of sale, and all the operating expenses like, compensation, lead gen, supplies, travel, food and entertainment, that kind of stuff, and a follow-up strategy. Okay. as well. And I know this is a lot, but if I'm going to be blunt, running a business is a lot too, right? So these are things that, little by little, you just need to kind of expose yourself to and kind of understand that this is something that will need to become a factor in your business at some point, and just little by little start to deal with it. Okay. We got a tab for social media. We got a tab for passwords, pre-qualification, both seller and buyer, a growth plan, daily routine or routines. Really, this is a list of things that you should be doing every day, a list of things you should be doing every week, a list of things you should be doing every month, and a list of things you should be doing every quarter. Okay. And then some, I'll eventually have some commentary on lead generation there. So with all of that said, what I'd love, number one, I'm going to begin to share this document with everybody. What I've noticed is that sometimes I'll share it with the email that you are, that you shared from a business perspective, but then you put in a request to edit it or look at it or whatever, and it looks like it is from like a personal account, and that way you don't have access to some of the like you can't edit it or you can't maneuver it or whatever. So if you do not get it today as a shared document, I want you just to let me know, and I'll send it to whatever email address you want me to send it to. Okay. What I'm going to recommend that you do is, let me think of how this makes the most sense. You're going to need to make a copy of it, and then the copy can become yours, right? Because this one, it will be edited as, because I'm the owner of the document, if you will. Is there, and by the way, if you see something that is still unclear, or you want some more detail about it, or you have some specific questions about why something was put where it was put or whatever, just let me know. If you identify a system that that I didn't put here and you want some help with that, please let me know right away. And this week, my goal is to continue to kind of work my way through these documents and make them more and more helpful and more kind of robust, so that you guys can save time and save money. Is that fair?
That's Bill, that's fantastic. I love this. And could you name it, maybe put in the name, do not edit,
Yeah.
just so that, it's very clear, because it's easy to lose yourself.
Yeah. Do not. Good idea. Okay, so again, if you have any questions, any feedback, I'm wide open to it. If you come up and say, hey, I really want a system for, what to do after the open house or something. Okay, we'll work through that together. No big deal. Everyone probably has the same question. Okay, so I posted I'm going to start off by kind of sharing a thought on that graphic that I posted this morning, which was there's two kinds of people in the world. Okay, you're either making things happen or you're waiting for things to happen. Did anyone see that this morning and want to share their thoughts on that phrase?
I did, and it made me think of there was a while there that kind of in between careers where I knew I didn't do one thing, and before I went into real estate, where I kept thinking something just will happen and it will make me, and like it all fall together. But I just kept waiting for something to happen. Nothing did. So I was like, okay, I got to do something of my own. Like, it's not just going to fall out of the sky. Like, here's what you're supposed to do.
Did you just say you got to do something you don't like?
What?
What did you say? You got to do something you don't like?
No, I just said no, I had a career that I didn't want to go back to.
Mm-hmm.
But you keep like, okay, well, something will come around, something will happen. And it doesn't just happen. Like, you got to go make it happen. Like, nothing's going to just fall out of the sky and be like, oh, here's another fabulous thing you can do, that just lands in your lap. Like, you got to.
Right. And by the way, here's a little computer chip with all the knowledge that you'll need to have to be successful in that. And we'll give that to you for free too. Right. That doesn't exist. Now, what you could do is thank you for sharing. I mean, these are some pretty deep conversations here, and hopefully we know that this is a space where our peer group can share voluntarily and not feel judged. And if you have the courage to share, then you are doing somebody who maybe doesn't currently have the courage to share a gigantic favor. So thank you, Ryan. What I would say is that when you're in that type of situation and maybe you don't know what steps to take or something like that, my biggest suggestion is, why don't you go enlist some support, right? Why don't you let people know what you get passionate about, what task you like to do, and what, how you'd like your day to look, and, who you want to spend the most time with, and these kind of things. And they can help you identify opportunities, right? So what I'm thinking when I see, does anyone else want to share, by the way? Anyone? I can't remember the last time that I didn't have a single person on the screen. Hint, hint. Okay. When I look at this, I look at, you can either have a life by design or a life by default, right? Waiting for things to happen is kind of sitting around and hoping somebody cares more about your life than you do and provides an opportunity. Thank you, Lorinda. Don't look at the screen now. Safely drive, please. Okay. The other option is to make things happen. Is to get up and say, hey, if I'm going to be in control here, well, I better do something. I better go meet some people, talk to some people, learn something, etc. Did y'all kind of feel the same way, or am I reading into this wrong? Is everyone paying attention?
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. Anything you would like to offer additionally?
I'm struggling, Bill. I'm struggling. I feel like my heart is in it, but my brain cannot wrap my head around all that I need to do to make it happen.
Okay, so let me give you some blanket advice for that. Just take it one step at a time. Okay, you're not going to learn it all today. But when you go to bed tonight, you will not be a real estate expert. Your goal, that's not your goal though. Your goal should be, I want to be smarter than I am right this second. Right? So identify what's the most important thing I can work on today and just work on it. And everything else can wait.
Awesome.
Okay. So don't try to climb 1,000 stairs today, climb one. Right? Go learn one script. Right? Go add 10 people to the database. Complete this form. Right? Sit down with your significant other or the people that depend on you or whatever, and start to do some dreaming about what you want your lifestyle to look like from a time perspective, from a financial perspective, etc. You see what I'm saying? That's how we build a life by design. The other kind of point I want to make here is that we really, in my opinion, and I'm not trying to sound parental here, but in my opinion, we really have to understand, who are we trying to do all this stuff for? Are we trying to do it for our Instagram followers? Are we trying to do it for our neighbor so we can prove that we've got some money too? Right? Who are we trying to do it for? Are we trying to do it for our kids, for ourselves? Right? Are you getting what they call intrinsic value from the activity, which is like, you do this because it feels good and you're motivated to do it? Or are you doing it because for external reasons, like you're trying to create envy from somebody, or unintentionally, hopefully, right? Or you want some extra attention, or you want people to think you're successful or something like that, right? So if you come at it with that direction, then you're going to put things on here that are more meaningful to other people than they are to you. And then you wonder why it's hard to get motivated, because it's not all that meaningful to you, right? It's meaningful to other people, or you think it is, right? So what I'm going to recommend is that everyone just takes some time to really think through, what do you want your world to look like, right? When do you want to wake up? Who do you want to hang out with? How much money do you require? Who do you want to spend time with, right? Who do you want to contribute to, right? Who do you want to assist? These kind of things. And you don't have to build a business to impress me. You just have to build a business to impress yourself, right? You know, if I say, hey, Melissa, what's the perfect financial world for you? And you say, $80,000. And I ask Greta and she says, well, I need $180,000. Great. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to help Greta get where she wants, and I'm going to help Melissa get where she wants. And Melissa should not, and these are not your numbers, by the way, I'm just picking two names, but Melissa should not look at Greta and say, oh my gosh, I get less appointments than her. Oh my gosh, I come to the office less than her. Oh my gosh, I don't know my scripts as well as her. That's not helpful. You need to say, am I better today than I was yesterday? Because I'm en route to this. I'm working with my coach specifically on the tailored, customized plan to get to where I want to be. Make sense? Because guys, you will find somebody, if you look hard enough, and you actually don't have to look all that hard, you will find somebody that makes more money than you, that's got more pendings than you. You see what I'm saying? I just don't think that's all that helpful, particularly for new people. Make sense? All right, so let's walk through this document for a second, okay? There's a concept, and Gene Rivers talked a lot about this. By the way, I'll send out the weekly email today. I actually want to make it super short because I honestly think that not as many people read that thing as they should. And so I'm going to try to make it a little bit shorter and like, here's your week project, right? Watch this video, do something about it, something like that. There's a concept where we say profit first. Okay, so we don't say, let me go just do what I think I'm supposed to do in real estate. I'll earn whatever I happen to earn, and then my lifestyle will match whatever I earn if I'm lucky, right? The opposite approach would be to say, I require X number of dollars of profit so that I can afford this and this and this and this, which are the things that are most relevant to you, right? And the whole reason why you got into the business in the first place. And then therefore, how many, and what is the cost of all that going to be? Like, how much money do I need to spend in order to earn that? And then that becomes the gross goal, right? I require 100 grand profit, so therefore I need to go make 200. Now, in order to make 200, I got to do this. Then that's the plan. The other side of that is just say, well, 200 sounds good. No one ever in my family's ever made 200, and I can rub it in everyone's face at Thanksgiving. So let's do that. Make sense? So we identify what the profit's supposed to be, and then we go build a plan around that. Okay, so let's put profit to the side for 1 second. And let's talk about some the bottom part of this document. Okay, this document is essentially a business budget and a personal budget merged. Okay, so let's talk about the personal expenses for a second. Okay, and I've just identified some common expenses. Okay, so your numbers, will likely look different than mine or the other people's, right? So house payment, food, including restaurants and groceries, utilities, TV, internet, that kind of stuff. What monthly reoccurring payments do you have? Do you have credit card debt? Do you have student loan debt? Do you have child support? Like, what other monthly expenses that you have to make, right? Pet care expenses, child care, tuition, auto, right? Auto is insurance, repairs, maintenance. I suppose I should also put gas on there. Okay. Health and life insurance and medical bills. I'm just going to go out and I'm just going to be super in your face today. You all need health insurance, you all need disability insurance, and you all need life insurance. No exceptions. If you don't know where to find somebody to help you with those things, call me today. Make sense? Especially life insurance. Okay. Entertainment, lifestyle, hobbies, miscellaneous, right? Personal reserves, right? And other. Okay, so then the next thing is we're going to put some taxes in there, right? So you can account for you're going to earn the money, pay taxes, and that's what you have left to do the personal expenses. Okay. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Okay. So everything on the left column here is month, and everything on the right column is year. So what I oftentimes did, like everything in yellow, by the way, is a cell that you can change. White and black stuff, leave that alone for the moment. Okay. So for example, if I have, I got to look back at this formula because it should pre-populate. But a lot of times these expenses are done by month, but let's say your auto insurance you might pay per year or something like that, right? Or instead of saying, I'm going to put X number of dollars in personal reserves per month, it might be easier to just say, hey, I want 25 grand in there before the end of the year, and then break it down that way. Okay, so let's move on to, and obviously if there's something in here that I didn't account for, you're free to add it, okay? And I'll show you the tax calculation here in a minute. All right, next is business expenses. So we have two types of business expenses. One is called cost of sale, and the other is called operating expenses. Okay, cost of sale is the following. It is everything that you owe money on when there's a sale. Okay, so the only example of those for you guys is market center cap, the royalty, PC coaching. So for example, if you have a sale, you pay the 10% to PC. So that is a cost of sale. If you were to go pay $300 for a MAPS class, that's an expense because you pay regardless of the results. Do you all follow the difference? So using that idea, let's do a pop quiz. If you hire a photographer to take pictures of a listing, what is that? Is that a cost of sale or an expense?
Expense.
Good, because we don't know if the home's going to sell, right?
Right.
Now, there's some other things in here, and this can get a little tricky, and the point is not to get super in the weeds with this, but for example, if you're using Andrew, that I could argue that's a cost of sale because you don't pay him if the deal dies. Does that make sense? Okay, but I'd say from the formulas, so to speak, that probably should be under an expense. All right, I'm getting in the weeds, so let's avoid that. The other things that you might want to consider is FMLS fees, right? Of course, you only pay those when there's a transaction that closes, and then team member splits. So that's not so relevant for most of you guys. Okay, so we add all that up, and we determine, how many units do I need to sell based on my average commission in order to pay for all those things. Follow that?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's go down to business expenses for a second. Now these formulas right here are the Millionaire Real Estate Agent 2's budget model for $150,000 GCI or less. Okay, so they're saying you should spend 7.8% on salaries, 11.5% or 11.2% on lead generation, occupancy, education and coaching, supplies and office expenses, communication technology, automobile equipment, insurance. Okay, so these are clues as to what you ought to be tracking when you are, saving receipts and organizing your financials for your CPA and all that stuff. By the way, I said your CPA. It's time you have a CPA. You're a business owner, get a CPA. Make sense?
What's a CPA?
Certified public accountant. I mean, that's a bit of a next level designation. Let's just say a tax advisor. Don't be using TurboTax. You guys are all beyond that. Okay, you've earned the right to be beyond that. Congratulations. You need a tax advisor. Okay. Lorinda, I'm so glad you laugh at my horrible jokes sometimes. That's really the only reason why I want to see your faces. Okay, so what we've done here is we are essentially trying to calculate. I think there's one small error in my formulas here that's messing a few things up, but I will fix it and kind of explain everything to you right now. So in this scenario, I said the average commission check is $10,000. Therefore, the average sales price is $333. And I put your average tax rate as 30%, which is probably a little on the conservative side. Okay. Now, what we want to do is we want to say, okay, personal profit allocations, right? What are we trying to do with the profit that we make? Okay, so I just put a couple of things in here. I want a personal investment account. I want to start putting some money away for my family to make personal investments. So that could be buying stock, that could be buying real estate, that could be investing in a business, another business, something like that. A business investment, right, would be something that I want to begin to earmark some funds for, because at some point I'm going to wake up and say, man, I got a lot of jobs here and they're all important and I ain't got time to do them all. So I need to have some cash so I can help give somebody else another a job opportunity. Make sense? So I want you thinking that way from the very beginning of, hey, I am the only reason why I'm a one man or a one woman show today is because I either don't have the know-how on who to hire and how to hire them, or I don't have the capital to do it today. And therefore, part of my plan is to get there. And I'm going to make a tiny little movement today. Okay. Then you can say to yourself, well, I want some business reserves maybe. And I want to maybe make a donation to charity, or I want to tithe or something like that. Right. I don't mean to say that flippantly. Right. So the question is how much profit are you looking for? Because I'm not talking about paying for your expenses. That's a no-brainer. Right? Sometimes we forget about profit. We're just trying to break even. Guys, if you break even in business, you won't be able to make it. Right? We got to get all this stuff paid for, no doubt. But we also want to have the plan should include what we're going to do with the profit that we have. Right? Is this business not pretty stressful? Like, man, if we're going to put up with this stress, let's go make some money. You see what I'm saying? Everyone with me? Okay, next. So let's just do some quick math here, okay? I'm actually going to probably make up the numbers for a second. So let's say my profit allocations looks like that's about $50,000. So I'm going to need to do, let's say, 5 transactions in order to pay for my profit. Okay, I'm going to need to do, this was, I think somebody might have messed this up. Let's say in order to pay for my personal expenses for the year, let's say that's going to be 10 units. Okay, so we have 5 and then 10. Okay, in order to pay for my business cost of sale, I need, let's say, 4 units. Okay, and in order to pay my business expenses, which are usually roughly around 30% of your gross, and our gross is 150, so let's say that's 50,000, so let's say that's 5 units. Okay, so if we add all that up, that's 24 sales in order to achieve our goal. Y'all see how I did that? Based on the commissions that you've established right here. Okay, so then that gives us really the most appropriate beginning point that we take to the economic model, which is if we need to make 200 gross, or I'm sorry, if we need to sell 24 units, we can gross 240. What do we need to do from an activity standpoint to get there? Right. And as we go through the economic model, you'll see, okay, well, you're going to need to go on 52 appointments. Let's just have a nice clean number. Okay. It means you got to go on an appointment every week. If you can figure out a way to get yourself 1 appointment a week, that goal will happen almost without fail. If you cannot figure out a way to get an appointment a week, you'll be chasing the goal all year. Make sense? Okay, what do you guys, has anyone ever thought about the Life by Design form this way? I know sometimes we just kind of flippantly show it to you, but do you understand kind of the full purpose? Who's with me?
Yeah, I never looked at it in
Yes.
that light.
Marquia, go ahead.
Well, I guess I know, but I guess to put together a plan to actually execute it, I guess I never looked at it in that light, especially with considering going full time next year makes sense in order to separate your business versus your personal and calculating how many units you need to keep up with the lifestyle.
I'm not crazy about the way you said that, but yes, I completely agree. I don't like the word keep up with the lifestyle. So you
Well,
can
I guess
earn
like
with the lifestyle.
everyday expenses, like to really calculate how many units you have to sell in order to know how many units you have to sell to, I guess, keep up with your personal and your business. I guess maybe
Okay.
keep up with wouldn't be the right word.
Yeah,
But
I'm nitpicking at you, but yeah, I mean, it's ultimately.
well, with me having a full-time job, I guess I would say keep up, because if I'm going to replace my income and do real estate full-time, I guess that's the reason why I'm saying keep up with my lifestyle, because
Good.
my expenses wouldn't go away.
Perfect. I love the way you said that. I love the way you said that. Okay, I'm actually getting called up a little earlier to a very important morning huddle right now, but I want you guys to, I'll fool around with this a little bit more and make it a little bit more easy to kind of plug and play numbers. But a lot of times what I do when I sit down with somebody at orientation, for example, would be like, hey, what do you want to make? Right? Why is that important to you? And in general, most people say 100 grand because they don't, that's just kind of it's almost like the subconscious response. But I'm going to encourage everyone to prove their number to themselves, right? And don't feel like you have to like have my number or Ryan's number or Lorinda's number or something. Go find your number and sit down with your spouse or whatever, whoever depends on you, and or yourself if you're alone, and say, hey, what do I want? Do I want to go to nice restaurants? Do I want to go on a cruise? Do I want a different house? Do I want to get out of debt or support somebody else or whatever it is, right? So let's make sure that we have the right number that we're focused on, and then we'll build the rest of the plan based on that number. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Just trying to see if there's any. Okay, let's end there. I'll put a couple extra notes in the chat today, so make sure you're paying attention to that. And then please take a moment to update your numbers for the week that just ended yesterday, okay? All right, see you soon, guys.